What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Jordan Weber, and we're going to go over shoulder mobility today. We're going to talk about the glenohumeral joint and the scapula, and together in and around the neck, we'll talk about different things that you can do to get your shoulders situated and to see where your shoulders are at. So first, you can start kneeling or you can stand, either or. You want to keep a really nice firm position. We're going to take one of our arms and we're going to flex it forward. We're going to do what we call shoulder flexion, okay? And then we're going to try to bring that fist up over our head, okay? Just like this. Now notice that if your lower back arches, okay? If your lower back arches, that means wherever you begin to arch, that's where your shoulder flexion, that's how much range you actually have. So if you go back here and you start arching your back, then really your shoulder flexion is probably right here. So see where your lower back starts to move. So for me, I don't think I move too much, but I'm going to hold here. While I'm holding here, I'm going to squeeze my other fist. Hold right here. Then what we're going to do is take an inhale. We're going to squeeze all our stomach. We're going to squeeze everything. Our palm is going to be facing in, and then we're going to start turning our palm out and turn the biceps forward. So notice that the biceps is backwards. Now biceps starts to turn forward. As the biceps turns forward, we're going to reach all the way back, but we're not going to open up our chest. We're going to reach back. As we reach back, we're going to keep internally rotating our shoulder. So at the very end, the back of the hand is next to the side. Notice that my shoulder went forward. So I'm going to try to keep everything nice and straight. Take an inhale, keep the air low. Extension. This time I'm going to go ahead and rotate the arm out. I'm wringing out the sponge, reach back, forward, and down. Let's try the other side. Okay. Shoulder flexion. Bicep turns forward, reach back. Back of the hand next to the side. Extension, wrap the bicep back, all the way up, all the way forward. Now during this time, I'm trying to keep my head over my spine. I'm not letting my head go forward. I'm trying to keep everything still. Now if this hurts your knees or toes, like I said before, you can always do this standing. So we're going to do both arms one more time, or both shoulders one more time. Shoulder flexion. Bicep turns forward as you reach back. Back of the hand next to the side. Reach back. Turn the arm all the way forward and down. We'll get the other side. Shoulder flexion. Internal rotation. As you reach back, extension. Extension, external rotation, reach up, forward, and down, okay? So that would be your shoulder controlled articular rotation. So that would be just going through the full range of motion of your shoulder, okay? Or your glenohumeral joint, all right? Now to begin to expand space or to increase the strength of that joint, we can increase the irradiation. For example, I can hold on to a lacrosse ball and do the same thing. Biceps back, biceps toward my ear, reach back, twist, back of the hand next to the side, reach back, open it up, forward and down. Now I recommend going over these shoulder mobility exercises every single day, as many times as you can, especially if you're trying to improve the range and functionality of your shoulder. So if you're doing a lot of overhead things, or if you want more mobility, more range of motion with the arms and shoulders going overhead, then you need to practice getting in those full ranges of motions. Okay, so option 2, more radiation. Okay, you could add a wrist weight as you do it, or you could even hold on to a dumbbell during this controlled articular rotation. So those will be different levels that you could perform for the glenohumeral joint. Now, if you want to expand space in the glenohumeral joint, I'm going to show you external and internal rotation. So this would be external, this would be internal rotation of the glenohumeral joint. So this would be horizontal, external rotation and internal rotation. This would be shoulder abduction, external rotation, and internal rotation. Okay, I'm going to show you how to expand space. What you're going to need is a TRX strap or a ring strap. Just make sure that it's not a bungee cord, okay? So it's not, there's no slack here. What I'm gonna do is line my body up. My elbow is at a 90-degree angle. And what I'm going to do is just begin to kind of passively stretch in this position, okay? So I'm kind of bringing my hips back as I passively stretch into this position. I'm gonna hold this up to 2 minutes passively. I'm gonna think about my diaphragmatic breathing. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. So I'll do one of those with you. Inhale, then exhale for 8. So that's about 15 seconds of effort right there. And you're gonna do that 4 to 6 times before you go into your PALS effort or your progressive angular isometric load. So if you've heard of PNF stretching, when you're pressing on someone's hamstring, when you're stretching them out and they start pressing back, that would be the progressive angle. So same thing here, progressive angular isometric load. We're gonna go from 0% to 100%. We're gonna use all the tissues on the anterior portion of my arm, hand, and chest as I progressively push forward, okay? So there's a push, and then after that, we're gonna pull back. And notice that the slack is given out, okay? Slack is here, pushing forward, PALS effort, rails effort, or regressive angular isometric load, we're going to reach back in external rotation. So going further into external rotation for my rails, and then going into internal rotation for my PALS. So I'm going to set up passively, like I said, 0 to 2 minutes. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. After I'm done with that, I'm going to start the progressive angular isometric load, pushing forward, not letting my head jet forward, just focusing on this area here, intensifying the entire body. I can squeeze my fists, I can hold on to a weight. I can compress myself a little bit more and get down like this. Okay, so just trying to find what you think would set yourself up the best. You can go into half kneeling, okay? And you can also do this standing, okay? So many different options. As we're holding here, like I said, 0 to 2 minutes passively, we're gonna start the progressive angular isometric load, pushing in to this angle, going forward. So this would be the progressive angle. Look at how much progress I'm getting, okay? Or that's the bigger angle. Now the regressive angle is going back. So there's not a lot of angle to go back. There's a lot more in the progressive than there is in the regressive. And that's how it is for all of these mobility exercises and functional range conditioning. That's important to know because that means you can put yourself in any stretch, get a progressive and a regressive angular isometric load, and you can start to enhance the quality of tissue and expand on the space in any area, any joint in the body. So for example, for the shoulder, quick review, 1 to 2 minute passive stretch, and then I'm gonna go 0 to 100% in my progressive angular isometric load. During this time, my whole body's contracting. I'm going from 0%, 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, all the way to 100%. Once I hit 100% effort, I'm gonna hold it for about 10 seconds. After I hold that for 10 seconds, I'm gonna go into my regressive angular isometric load. I'm gonna hold that upwards to 15 seconds, keep the whole body irradiated, and then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna go into my newly acquired range, which I should have maybe about 10 to 15 degrees at most, and then it'll start plateauing, okay? So I would do that on both sides of the shoulder, or both arms, both shoulders. And this would be your PALS and rails for external rotation of the glenohumeral joint. I'm gonna quickly go over that one more time. So external rotation of the glenohumeral joint, I'm gonna sit here passively 1 to 2 minutes. After 1 to 2 minutes, I'm going to push forward into my progressive angular isometric load. As I'm pushing forward, I'm irradiating throughout my entire body. After I do that, from 0 to 100%, I'm going to go to my regressive angular isometric load, upwards of 15 seconds, and then I'm going to go back to my passive stretch. Remember, diaphragmatic breathing while you're holding that passive stretch in the beginning, and then irradiation during PALs and rails, 0 to 100% PALs, and then hold 10 seconds, and then rails, 15 to 20 second hold, and then go back to your passive stretch with your diaphragmatic breathing. So that's external rotation, PALs and rails of your glenohumeral joint. Now, if you're going for internal rotation of the glenohumeral joint, you're going to need a yoga block. You can use a medicine ball. You can use a couple mats stacked up, but you want to give your head a little bit of comfort here, okay? So what you're going to do is you can put your head on the medicine ball like this, or you can use your yoga block just like this. Notice that I'm going to scoop the legs here. I'm going to start vertically here, and then I'm going to bring my legs in about almost 90 degrees, but not 90. I would say about, I don't know, I would say this is about a 40 to 50 degree angle here. From here, what I'm going to, no, this is about a 90 degree angle, maybe 100. But then I'm going to extend my shoulder out, my hand in front of my shoulder, and then come down about 10 degrees. Bend my elbow, and then I'm going to lock down, and I'm going to pull, or I'm going to start stretching my wrist toward my belt buckle. Okay, so this is internal rotation. External rotation, internal rotation. Okay, so I'm going to start going toward my belt buckle or my waistline in this position. This is going to be my passive stretch. I'm going to hold this upwards of 2 minutes. Okay, diaphragmatic breathing while I'm doing that, letting the central nervous system know that it's okay to be in this position before activating the tissue. So not just getting into this position, activating the tissue without neurological control. So make sure that you do that first. So 1, progressive angular isometric load after your passive stretch, 0 to 100%, and then your regressive angular isometric load. So if this is your progressive angular isometric load, your regressive would be going down. So that's the tinier angle. Okay, you don't have a lot of room in your regressive angular isometric load. You're going further into the stretch in your rails contraction. Your PALS contraction, you're going the opposite way. So again, passive stretch, 0 to 2 minutes, hold right here. Diaphragmatic breathing. Then begin your PALS effort, 0 to 100%. Safest, greatest effort, hold that for 10 seconds. After your safest and greatest effort, you go to your rails contraction, which is going deeper into the stretch. Keep your radiation high as you go more into internal rotation, and then you go into your passive stretch and hold here and relax. Okay, I'm gonna try that on the other side. I'll just flip my body over just like that, rest my head, hand in line with my shoulders, scoop my feet, bend my elbow, wrist toward the belt buckle. I'm holding on nice and tight here. I'm keeping my wrists flat. I'm not letting my wrists extend or flex. Okay, I can squeeze my fist, that helps. Keep my legs locked, quads are tight. Hold this passive stretch, diaphragmatic breathing, 0 to 2 minutes. Then I'll begin my PALS contraction from 0% all the way to 100%. My whole body will begin to irradiate at around 30 to 40%, and then from 40 to 100%, I'm going to begin to recruit as much muscle as I can throughout the entire body to go deeper into my progressive angular isometric load using isometric contractions here. So I'm trying to go out of this position in my progressive angle from 0 to 100%. I'm going to hold 100% up to 10 seconds, and then after that, I'm going to let go of the lock, and I'm just going to try to go deeper into the stretch, into internal rotation of the glenohumeral joint, just like that, and then I'm going to go back to that passive stretch. Okay, so that would be your internal rotation sleeper stretch for your glenohumeral joint, and then your external rotation would be using the ring and the contraption over there. So again, that's shoulder mobility. We started off with the controlled articular rotations of the glenohumeral joint. After that, we went into external rotation of the glenohumeral joint, and then we went into internal rotation of the glenohumeral joint. Those 3 exercises, if you perform those daily, if you do them the right way, are going to help expand the longevity and health of your glenohumeral joint. I hope you thought this was useful. Please share it, please subscribe, please like it, and have a great day.